You're doing sales because you failed at marketing. But those aren't my words. Credit goes to this man here, Naval Ravikant. Come inside. I'll show you what I mean. Now, I want you to look at this and sit with this for a second and think about what it actually means. Because to me, what it means is that for every single coach, every single call that you did where you used every NLP trick, every tough sales, objection handling tactic, what if none of that was a sales closing problem at all? What if it had everything to do with your marketing further upstream? And here's the part that gets really good coaches stuck for years. The better you are at selling, the longer you put up with bad marketing, bad content creation. Because what's happening is that your talent on those sales calls is making up for, it's compensating for the weak content and the weak marketing upstream, and it's not pulling its own weight. For a coach, your content is your marketing. And right now, if you're having tough sales calls, then it's probably not doing its job. Hey, my name is Ken, and if you're a coach doing at least $10,000 per month in your business, then I want to show you how to turn your content into a profitable presence online. In case you're wondering, I'm not talking about going viral for the sake of going viral or dancing for TikTok. And I'm definitely not suggesting you become a full-time content creator who also does coaching on the side. So here's what I am talking about. I'm talking about creating content that's going to build trust, it's going to build demand for your coaching business, and it gets people into your world, and it's going to turn those viewers into trust and into booked calls and eventually clients. But before I show you anything, let me tell you why I'm the one telling you this. So here's a brief history. In 2016, I started a content agency, and I was flying around the world shooting content for people like Taki Moore, like Peng Joon, who you may have heard of, people like Kevin O'Leary, and even people like Grant Cardone. And this was a lot of fun. But this is not where I actually started. I started a few years ago, and I started this out by doing personal development seminars in Japan. I would go and hire world speakers and bring them to Japan and fill the room. And I'd also do speaking gigs all over the world. And this is where I actually cut my teeth with content creation, because I had to create ads that filled this room and was bringing in multiple millions of dollars per month sometimes in order to get to here. So one of the key things driving the sales for these events was the videos, and the videos were turning into ads, and eventually I started working with the speakers themselves and helping them to sell out events all over the world. To tell you the truth, I was pretty happy cruising along until 2020 when my business completely shut down. I was not able to go fly out or hire crew members to fly out to shoot content, and I had to figure out what to do next. So around this time is when I realized I needed to rebuild around the one thing that was always the real asset throughout everything. It was the system and the psychology behind the content that sells. And that's when I started coaching people like Annalise, people like Jason, people like Alex, people like Sarah, and people like Asher. We're gonna get into their story in just a minute. But there was one more little wrinkle that happened right around here in 2026. I was able to exit successfully another business called GoBox, and it was for multiple seven figures, and it really took away all my excuses in order for me to be able to fully focus on the coaching. So I'm not sharing all this with you to brag. I'm sharing this with you so that you understand that everything that I'm going to share with you on this video is not just stuff that I copied from some influencer. It's stuff that I actually lived and experienced and actually had to build and sell businesses with. Take, for example, Sarah right here. She's somebody who joined the coaching program, and she's a business coach, and she got to the point where she was producing content at scale, being able to identify the ones that were actually going to make her money, and spending about $2,000 per month, generating about $40,000 or more in sales. And that's the kind of system that I'm helping people to deploy today. And remember, that $40,000 came from one piece of content that had one job and actually nailed it. So stick around if you have a coaching offer that actually works and gets clients results, and you just need to nail this thing called content. Let me know if this sounds familiar. You're not getting enough people into your sales calls, or maybe you're getting the calls booked, but they show up cold, skeptical, and a bit unconvinced, right? Maybe you're able to convert them when somebody's already warm, but right now, when they get on your sales calls, it feels like the person on the call, the salesperson, maybe you, is doing all the heavy lifting, and you're having to arm wrestle them into submission. And here's the truth. If sales is doing the heavy lifting, then marketing is not doing its job. Remember, this guy said it. Here's the thing, your content should be making the sales process easier. It should be warming up your prospects before they ever get to you, and it should help them to understand your thinking. It should help them to trust you before they ever click the button and book a call with you. And in this video, I'm gonna show you the exact system we use. Hold on one second. Clear this. And at the very center is something called the profitable presence. What this means here is that you are present on social media with content every day, but not in a viral way necessarily, but in a way that creates profit. Not just views, not just likes, not just followers who never buy anything. Profit, leads, calls, pipeline, clients, that's what I'm talking about. And I'm gonna walk you through the 3 parts of this machine. But before I do, you need to understand how the algorithm actually works, because once you get this, then the content stops feeling mysterious. All right, let's talk about how the algorithm actually works. So we're gonna start right here. Most people think that when they post a video, the platform is just gonna decide whether it likes them or not. But that's not at all what's happening. Think about it like this. When you publish a short form video, the platform doesn't instantly show it to the entire internet. That would be crazy. It puts your video into a small room first. Now, this small room is gonna include some of your followers. It's gonna include some people who've engaged with similar content. And just for fun, they're gonna throw in a few random strangers that the platform thinks might care. And then what happens is the algorithm starts watching what these people do. And here's what they look for. Do they swipe away immediately? Do they make it past the first 3 seconds? Do they keep watching? Do they rewatch? Do they comment? Do they save it? Do they share it? Do they tap your profile? Do they follow you? Do they DM you? Do they click? So if your video gets enough good signals in this small room, the platform opens the door to a bigger room. So if the signal you're looking for is 3+ seconds, then you get to graduate to this bigger room. And once you're in this bigger room, then the algorithm is gonna come and watch again. It's gonna look for the same thing. What kind of engagement are you getting? And if this engagement metric is met, you are shown to a bigger room again. And they're gonna keep graduating you to bigger and bigger rooms until the signals stop. And this right here is the reason why the first few seconds matter so much. Not because hooks are magic, they're not magic. The first few seconds matter because if people don't stop scrolling, the video never earns the right to enter the next room. But here's where a ton of coaches get this wrong. I watch people obsessing over hooks, but they get the rest of the video wrong. The hook can get someone to stop, but it can't get people to watch. The rest of the video has to earn the watch, and the watch is what's gonna earn distribution and continue getting you up that ladder. So let me show you the signal ladders, because some signals matter a lot more to others, and I've done a lot of research. So I'm gonna share with you everything that I found out so far. I'm gonna start at the very bottom, which is the very weakest signal, and we'll go all the way up to the top, which is what I call the business signal, the signal that actually gets people to buy. Level 1 is the stop signal. Do they stop scrolling? This is your first 1 to 3 seconds in your video, your hook, your opening line, the visual statement, your energy. The thing that makes someone go, wait, did he just say that? So here's an example of a weak hook. 3 ways to grow your coaching business. Guys, that is so 2016, don't do that. But a much stronger hook could be, here's 3 things that you're probably doing that are secretly sabotaging your business. That might work a little better, but you're not gonna know if it's gonna work for you just because it worked for somebody else unless you try it. Now that's a different lesson. The second one might get a prospect to stop and think, hang on, that might be me. And that's what you want them to think. Now let's go to level 2. Level 2 is the watch signal. After they stop for the first 3+ seconds, do they keep watching? Do they watch over again? What's the completion rate? But if people watch most of it and they finish it, or they watch it multiple times, that tells the platform that the video is holding attention. We get people to stop, we get people to watch, but the third one is value. What is the value signal? Do they save it? Do they comment or share? A save usually means this is useful. I want to come back to it later, right? And that's a whole nother story, but you probably have a bunch of saved videos I never watched. That's not what I'm talking about today. If you comment under video, it's gonna tell the platform that you have something important that made people want to interact with you, and social media platforms love that. And a share means that this made me think of somebody else. And by the way, here's a little secret thing. A DM share, as far as the experts know today, is considered the strongest signal of value. More than a like, more than a comment, because a lot of times I'm scrolling and I see my friend posted something, I don't even watch it, but I'm just like, yay you, and I'll hit like. And I might say, great job, fire emoji, just because they're my friend. But I won't DM share it privately unless I actually think that the person, usually my wife, is gonna enjoy it and find it funny or valuable. So what you're doing privately is the strongest indicator of value. So that's a tip for you. Now let's go to level 4. Level 4 is trust. How do we know that people trust you? What are the signals? Well, number 1, do they tap your profile? People who tap your profile think, this person is cool, I wanna know about them. Do they watch more than one video? So that means they finish their first one, then they look for more. Do they follow you after watching a video? Most importantly, do they move from one piece of content into your wider world? This is where content becomes more than entertainment. It creates curiosity. At level 5 is when they take action. This is when they actually DM you asking for help. Do they opt in on your link in your profile? Do they book a call where they end up as a client? And this right here, this level, the business level, is the level that all coaches should care about if you're on social media, because all you need is one basic looking video that's going to create $25,000 clients. That's worth more than 1 million views from people who will never buy from you. And the problem is most coaches get stuck and distracted on influencer metrics before they ever get to the business signals. I'm talking about views and likes. Those are cute, but they're not going to generate clients. And they get stuck there. I got stuck there because it's so fun to get more followers and to have a viral moment. And look, let's be honest. Of course you want to go viral. Everybody wants to go viral. I want to go viral. You might not say it out loud because it feels like you're just being vain, but of course you want the video to pop off. That's normal, and there's nothing wrong with that. But as a coach whose goal is a profitable presence online, then you got to remember that profit is the goal, not virality. Trust is the goal. Booked calls are the goal, and new clients paying you money every single month, that is the goal. Influencers monetize attention, but coaches are going to monetize on trust. And that means your content has to do a completely different job. Your job is not to entertain strangers forever. Your job is to use content to coach at scale. Instead of coaching one person in a 60-minute session, you're coaching one person through a 30 to 60-second video, and you can do it at scale. And as a coach, you have an unfair advantage. Let me explain how that works for you. You already know how to do this because you're a trained coach. You know the pain that your prospects are going through. You know their secret desires, what keeps them up at night. And you understand this magic thing called identity shifts. You already know how to help someone see their problem differently. And most importantly, you know how to move someone from stuck to clear. That's the raw material of all great content, whether it's long form, short form, or a call with your clients. If it's feeling hard for you right now, it's not that you're not built for content. It feels hard because no one gave you the actual production system. No one showed you how to take all that magic and the experience in your head and formulate it into short, sharp videos, punchy videos that are actually made for social media, that are actually gonna take people from cold to sold. And instead, you got bad advice. Download 1,000 viral hooks, right? I'm guilty. I downloaded a few of those. Post every day. I post every day, but you don't have to post every day to start if your message is sharp. Maybe you got advice like, you know what? This AI prompt is gonna do all the writing for you. Or just repurpose your podcast into short clips. By the way, that thing died like 7 or 8 years ago. It used to work, but I think what happened is it became too easy and too automated that there's just too much of it and people don't really care anymore. Or here's some other advice. Go hire an overseas low-cost editor. I've had problems with that too. Or batch all your content once a month. And let me guess, now you're stuck in something called the production gap. You block out a day to shoot all your content. You get it scripted out with ChatGPT or whatever, and you're all fired up. You shoot some content, or you don't, because of you can't figure out the camera settings, what's the f-stop, what's the aperture, what's the focal point, all that stuff. But let's say you do get past that, you shoot it, and then there's the next step, like dumping all the files, uploading to Google Drive, renaming all the files, putting them into your project management system, managing your editor, giving feedback, and then getting the feedback and realizing they didn't really understand the vision in the first place. And this is just the beginning. This is just probably 1/10 of the stuff that actually goes on in the production trap. And I'm the guy that knows this because I've been running a content agency for about 10 years. And even after you get back the videos and you're happy with it, it's like, where do I post it? What caption do I use? What hashtags? What do I do if nobody watches? What happens is instead of creating 6 strong videos for that week, you come out with barely 1, maybe. And you're not even happy with it completely, but you post it anyway because you don't want to be a failure. You don't have a motivation problem. You have a system problem, and that system problem is what gets you stuck in the production gap. So let me do you a favor, and I'm gonna show you what happens when we actually get the right systems in place. Let's start by talking about Sarah. So Sarah is a business coach from New Zealand. When she got started working with us, she was already repurposing podcasts and putting it out, and it was going out every week, but it wasn't actually doing any hard work for her. After working with us for a couple months, she was able to completely sort that out and change things around to where she was producing content daily, and she was able to take $2K investment in ads and turn that into over $40K within a calendar month. The thing is, it's not just about one video, it's about the system that makes it work together. All right, let's talk about Annalise. Annalise was a marketing expert based in LA. She was helping her clients to set up funnels and ads, and that was working great. but she didn't have much to show in terms of organic and content creation. I remember the main thing we helped her do was to take her big genius ideas and compress them into 30 to 60 second videos. And as a result, she was able to fill her pipeline with 70K of deals, and she actually told us that she had 25K closed just from one single video. So if you look at it again, super clear, it's simple, it's not Hollywood production, but it just works. Now, I remember Jason because he was one of our first clients, very, very early stages, and he is also a business coach. Jason was already running like a 7-figure business, but he had nothing going in terms of organic content creation. So when he came to us, basically, we thought, how can we take all the experience he's had building multiple businesses and running them and turn that into short form content where a total stranger can watch it and actually want to work with him and hire him as a coach. The reason I remember him so clearly is because he wanted to fly all the way to Japan so he gets to work with us one-on-one. So we worked together on a mix of long form videos and short form videos. Now, with the organic outreach strategies that we gave him, he texted me back not long after, and he said that he had $64,000, not in sales, but in the bank, as a direct result of working with us and the videos we created together. And the cool thing is this all happened in the first 4 weeks. These are not typical results, but it's definitely possible. And later on, he said that he got more sales totaling up to 100K within the first 4 months of working with us. This right here, this is what I mean when I say content should make sales easier. The video doesn't replace the sales calls. It makes the calls warmer. It helps people understand your thinking before they ever speak with you. What your content's gonna do is turn interest into trust and trust into sales. And I could keep going on. I could talk about Alex, who added $50,000 to his recurring revenue, or Asher, who shot 90 videos in 90 days working with us, giving him a whole bunch of data points to improve his business. You're probably wondering, when is Ken gonna actually get to the point and explain how all this works? Well, we're back here to profitable presence, and I'm gonna break down exactly the main components of how this program works, and you can take all this and use it yourself, all right? So take some notes here. So in order to get a profitable presence, there's 3 problems we gotta solve. The first one is nobody knows. Literally, if nobody knows about your service or your business, then it's impossible to make a business happen. The next problem we gotta solve is that nobody cares. And here's the third problem. You've probably experienced this: nobody buys. You probably noticed that the problems we're solving are not about going viral or not posting every single day or becoming an influencer. It's got to do with nobody knows, nobody cares, nobody buys. And if we can solve this, then you're gonna have as many leads as you can handle in your social media, and you're gonna be able to get sales and leads every single day. Now, the reason I use the term machine is because there are specific mechanisms that solve these problems. The first one is what we call the audience accelerator. The audience accelerator is gonna solve the problem of nobody knows. When nobody cares, we have something called the engagement engine. And when nobody buys, the machine that we deploy is called the dead simple funnel. And right now, I'm gonna walk you through what is inside of these and how it actually works. The audience accelerator has 3 main components, and I'm gonna break them down for you. Number 1, we need something called the bridge. The bridge is 2 specific pieces of content. It's gonna get people to know who you are and trust you, and also give them a preview of what it's like to work with you. This is gonna live on LinkedIn, on Instagram, on Facebook, wherever you're posting content. Now, the second one is called the $5 per day campaign. Did you know that $5 is all you need to get started with ads? It's what you need to do in order to start testing signals and testing content to figure out which ones to scale up later. Just $5 a day. Now, the third component here is what I call the invite ad. The invite ad is a specific scripted video that's gonna get people who don't know you, but are the ideal customer, and get them into your world on social media so that you can get people to care, which is over here. The engagement engine is where we engineer the environment that gets people to engage and want to work with you. And you guessed it, it's got 3 components. The first one solves the biggest problem. What do I talk about? And we do this with something called the perfect week. This is where you're gonna get dialed in on what are the 6 Ps and what do we talk about each day of the week, so that we're not always repeating the same crap over and over and getting tired of our own voice. We get to talk about something unique where we're addressing the pains, the problems, sharing your personal philosophy, and giving people a plan on how to move forward. There's a bit more to that, but this is an AI-powered system where you just have a simple conversation with an AI agent once a week, and it's gonna give you your entire content plan. Next thing we have is what's called the 30-minute plan. This is what solves the problem of the production gap, where there's this big pile of stuff that just feels so heavy, and a lot of times you either don't do it, or you do it wrong, or you do it with way too much time and effort required. I show you how to do the quick and easy way with as little equipment as possible. Now, the last part of the engagement engine is something that I call production. Now, production is a common word. It can mean a lot of things, but in this case, what it means is what are all the other things involved? For example, right now I'm shooting this video like a YouTube video. I've got a camera up here, I've got a camera there with a teleprompter, I've got a camera there, and I've got this wireless mic, I've got some lights. This is production. But the truth is I only do this once a week. And when I'm creating regular content, I'm doing stories every day, I'm shooting short form content, that's done with just my phone. And a lot of times that's all you need as well. And once you nail these three things, you're gonna be creating organic content that goes out and it's gonna get people to actually care about you and listen, and you're gonna start indoctrinating them so that they can make the right choice to work with you. This last one here is the most fun, the dead simple funnel. If you like systems, you're gonna freaking love this. The first thing is speed to lead. If you've done any sales, which you have, you're gonna know that every single minute after someone opts into something diminishes their likelihood of converting. That's why we need some automation and some robots set up so that the moment someone comments or engages with your content with the right signals, you're gonna be able to reach out to them and give them the thing they need and walk them through the next step. The next thing we need is something called the 10-step VSL ladder. Now, the thing about the 10-step VSL ladder is that you've already experienced it, or at least you've experienced most of it, because it's a lot like the video you're watching right now, this video. It's a sequence of 10 steps that's gonna walk people through a process of explaining the value, a little bit of your backstory, educating someone, and eventually getting people to understand your model of business, your model of coaching, and they get to make an educated decision on if you're the right person to work with. Just like right now, you're probably thinking, is Ken the right person who I want to work with my coaching business and with my content? Now, the very last thing here is what we call the skinny lead magnet. I call it the skinny lead magnet because it's not going to be general information. It's not going to be an ebook. It's going to be a complete solution to a skinny problem, a narrow problem. We're actually solving people's problems in advance and not just giving them random education, for example, 1,000 viral hooks. It's a complete solution to a narrow problem. And when you nail this, then people will be climbing over chairs and fighting and biting to get to that free thing, or maybe it's even a $10 thing in order to watch this next thing. And I'm going to guess that there's a pretty good chance that you downloaded one of my skinny lead magnets right before you clicked and watched this video. So there you have it. This is the entire plan, and this is what we help our clients execute in 90 days of working with us. Now, if you were to picture your business 90 days from today, from right now, with all of this stuff actually working, where you sit down once a week, you shoot a handful of really sharp videos that you're proud of, and you hand them off without 100 tiny decisions in that, the production gap, eating half your day away, or maybe the whole day, and the right people are finding you, they're choosing to watch more, and they show up to calls with you already warm, already half sold, maybe fully sold, because, and this is the big because your content did the coaching to them. They did the selling to them before you ever got on the call with them. Now your calendar starts filling up with people who get your thinking before you ever see them. And they want your help before you ever ask them if they want to buy. And your content stops feeling like a second job that you dread. And it starts feeling like the thing that is driving your revenue. That's pulling you forward. And that's the biggest difference between just posting content, ticking off that mark, or having a real profitable presence on social media. So if you're a coach making at least $10,000 a month and you want a bit of direct help with your content strategy, then what you want to do is click the button below this video and book a content to clients brainstorm session with me. On that call, we're going to focus in on three main things. Number one, we're going to focus on what you're posting and where. Now, this part's super important. We're gonna find what's the biggest bottleneck right now in your production, and we're gonna map out your weekly content rhythm, the one that's gonna work best for your business. Next, we're gonna identify what is the fastest path, the shortest distance for you from content to clients. And once we've gone over these, I'm gonna give you my best thinking on what I think is the best first step for you. Now, here's my promise to you. You're probably wondering, is this a high pressure call, or is Ken gonna try to twist my arm into buying something? Absolutely not. If we never work together, if you decide, I don't like this Ken guy, or if I decide that you probably shouldn't be in the program, then you don't have to buy a thing, but you're gonna walk away with the specific plan, with the exact plan, and you're gonna be able to implement it yourself with me or by yourself. If you're tired of content creation feeling heavy, if you're tired of sales calls feeling like you're wrestling an alligator every time, if you're tired of gurus telling you all this advice that is gonna help you temporarily but might not actually give you the profitable presence, then go ahead and click below. Book in your content to clients brainstorm. This is the exact same call that Jason had before he worked with me, that Sarah had, that Annalise had, that Alex had, that Asher had. One thing they all had in common is they got on this call and they made a decision to work with me. So the way I work is I keep 4 slots open every week unless I'm traveling, in which case there's going to be none, and it's first come, first serve. But if you're somebody who's a coach who's making 10K per month and you want help, and you got 15 minutes on your calendar, and you want to get my eyeballs on what you're posting and where, finding the bottlenecks, and identifying the fastest path, there's only one thing left to do. Click below and book in that call with me. And remember, you're going to walk away with an exact plan, whether or not you decide to work with me. And there's no selling on this call. You can't buy even if you want to. There's zero risk. So if you feel that this is for you, go ahead, book it in, and I'll see you soon.